Guys, so today we're reading chapter 5a. Jody was immediately caught up in the excitement of the attempt to outrun the storm. The sails billowed, then swelled tautly as they came into the wind. Dolphin Dreamer surged forward, almost flying as light and fast as a dream. Brittany beside her at the rail already looked better. Her sickness helped by the smoother motion of the boat and the fresh air on her face. Jody was glad for her. She'd been seasick herself a few times, and it really was no fun. Jody gazed out to sea, wondering where Apollo was, and if dolphins were even aware of storms. Probably the weather on the surface wouldn't make much of a difference to their lives. She gasped as she was suddenly drenched with water, but it was fresh, not seawater. It was rain. Fast as the Dolphin Dreamer had flown, the rain clouds had been faster. "Prepare to come about," shouted the captain, giving the command to change course. Cam, Gina, and Craig scrambled to obey, slackening the sails. They hadn't managed to outrun the rain. Now the squall was so fierce that they could hardly see any distance ahead. It wasn't safe to keep going. "You girls get below," Maddie shouted as she rushed forward to help Cam reef the foresail. Taking it down would reduce their speed. Jody's heart lurched as she clutched the rail to save herself as the deck pinched sharply beneath her feet. Brittany cried out in fright. "What's happening?" We're going to have to, Jody said. "That means we're stopping as much as we can. We'll drift a little, but we have to batten down and ride it out." "Passengers below," bellowed Harry from the helm. "Now!" "He means us," said Jody urgently, putting one hand on Brittany's shoulder. "Come on, we're in the way." "No, I'm not going," Brittany shouted, setting her jaw stubbornly. Cam was right, thought Jody. Brittany just wouldn't do anything her father said. She decided to try another angle. "You can't wait to stay out in this awful rain. Come below where it's dry." Brittany already looked as if she couldn't get any wetter. She shook her head stubbornly. "I feel sick when I'm inside. I'm staying right here." She straightened up as if to emphasize her words and moved towards the center of the boat. It was the wrong move. Jody, an experienced sailor, had seen that Cam was releasing the boom, the long horizontal pole that supported the mainsail and enabled them to change direction. She heard his shouted warning, which Brittany was too absorbed by her own problems to notice. The heavy boom was swinging in their direction, straight for Brittany's head. There was no time to explain. Jody grabbed the other girl by the arm and yanked her to the one side. A split second later, the boom swung by, narrowly missing them. Brittany stared at Jody through narrowed eyes, then lashed at her, reacting as if Jody was attacking her instead of trying to save her. Jody tried to dodge Brittany's blow, but just then the boat heeled over sharply, pinching her forward. She flailed around for something to grab hold of, but there was only Brittany. And as Jody grabbed her again, Brittany's face blazed red. She shoved Jody away as hard as she could. Jody staggered backwards, and with a feeling of complete disbelief, she felt herself go flying overboard. It happened in an instant, yet on her way into the heaving sea below. Time seemed to stretch out. Jody had time to feel shocked that it was really happening to her, to feel angry at Brittany, and annoyed at herself for being so careless. She almost managed to hold her breath before she plunged below the water. Quickly, Jody struggled back to the surface, pulse racing, adrenaline coursing through her system. She was a strong, experienced swimmer, and like the rest of her family, Jody had practiced what to do if this ever happened. Of course, in the practice session, the sea had never been as rough as this, and it hadn't been raining so hard she could scarcely see. But as scared as Jody felt, at least she wasn't injured, and surely Brittany would have alerted everyone to what had happened. Her parents and the rest of the crew would already be looking for her. They'd locate her very soon. Then Cam would attach the ladder and she'd be back on board. All she had to do was keep herself afloat and stay near the boat. But where was the boat? She should have been right next to it, but she couldn't see it. All of a sudden, Jody was completely terrified. She was lost. Gasping for breath, her heart pounding, Jody struggled to stay calm, remembering how her dad emphasized the importance of keeping a clear head in a crisis. The boat couldn't have disappeared. She must have gotten turned around while she was underwater. That was all. Blinking hard against the blinding rain and trying to keep on top of the waves that threatened to submerge her, Jody paddled around in a circle, searching desperately in the featureless grey water for the shape that meant safety.